And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And you know what? We have got a phenomenal show for you today. You don't want to miss it. We try to do our best to give you a variety of things in the show. We are altering our show just a little bit today. Normally, we would do the 10 things you need to know and encapsulate them in the news, and then we go in and do a little more in depth. Just seems like that was getting a little redundant. So we're going to still do the news, but we're going to give you the in-depth from the beginning to the end and keep that on going. Then on today's show, we're going to talk about not only what's in the news, but we're going to talk about new legislation. The IRS loses. We'll continue our news segment, our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey. In the rest of the story, today's story is going to be the deciding vote. You're not going to want to miss that. It's a terrific story. And you know what? As always, you'll be really surprised at how it ends. Then, we'll also have today our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Salzman. He's going to be here. He'll be talking about new technology, wireless technology, the deals that are going out there. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how the war on terror is invading your privacy, and then we'll give you some practical tips that I think you're going to find interesting, maybe even be able to use a lot of these, and that's kind of where we're at today. So right now, I want you to know that at 3:02 p.m. Pacific time, it's currently 72 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's on its way down to 52 degrees. So it's got a long way to go here if you think about it. But you know what? Let's start off with the news. And right up at the top, the Fed is expected to raise the rates for the first time in a year. That's the interest rates we're talking about. The Federal Reserve is expected to raise its key interest rate for the first time in a year when its policy meeting ends today. Now, the move would lift the rate by 1/4 point to a range between 0.5% and 0.75%, likely nudging up the cost of some consumer and business loans. The Fed last increased rates in December a year ago when it hiked its benchmark rate from a record low set at the depths of the 2008 financial crisis. Attention Wednesday, or today I should say actually, will revolve around what Fed officials say about the pace of future rate increases against the backdrop of Donald Trump's election. How the Fed manages its policies might not be clear, even after it issues a statement that and Chair Janet Yellen holds a news conference to tell us all about that. So we'll see what's going on with that a little bit later on. You know what? There's some advice for borrowers and investors. Take a deep, deep breath. If you're about to buy a home, shop for a car, or borrow for college, the pros have some advice. Go ahead. The Federal Reserve's decision today to slightly raise its key interest rate, advisors say, should have little effect on mortgages or auto and student loans. The Fed doesn't directly affect those rates, at least not in the short run, nor should the economy's health be much affected by the Fed's move. That said, rates on some other loans, notably credit cards, home equity loans, and adjustable rate mortgages, will likely raise soon, though only modestly. Those rates are based on benchmarks like banks' prime rate, which moves in tandem with the Fed's key rate. Mortgage rates have been surging for reasons that have little to do with the Fed. Rather, Donald Trump's election as president, with his pledge to slash taxes, loosen regulations, and increase infrastructure spending, has raised the prospect of faster economic growth and inflation. In response to the rate on the 10-year U.S. Treasury note has jumped about 0.5 percentage point. Long-term mortgage rates tend to track the 10-year Treasury. The average rate on a 30-year fixed home loan is up nearly in lockstep with the 10-year Treasury to about 4.1% from 3.5%. That's about a 6% differential. The Fed isn't what's influencing the mortgage rates right now, said Greg McBride, chief financial analyst at Bankrate.com. Next year, if the economy picks up, as many predict, the Fed might accelerate its rate hikes. That would be any cause for consumers to consider paring short-term debt like adjustable rate loans and credit cards, shorter-term consumer rates, and most affected by the Fed. So keep your eye open, but don't panic at this particular point. That's kind of what the word is all about. Well, Trump tells anxious tech leaders, we're here to help. President-elect Donald Trump, who faced fierce opposition from Silicon Valley leaders during the election campaign, strove to assure the titans of tech on Wednesday or today that his administration is here to help you folks do well. Trump, still savoring his election victory, convened a summit at Trump Tower for nearly a dozen tech leaders whose industry largely supported Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton. Many in the industry are worried that Trump will strife innovation and curb the hiring of computer-savvy immigrants and infringe on consumers' digital privacy. He immediately tried to allay those fears. We want to keep going with the incredible innovation. Anything we can do to help this go on, we will be there for you, Trump said. You'll call my people, you'll call me. We'll have no formal chain of command around here. Well, the CEOs who filled the table in Trump's 25th floor conference room included Apple's Tim Cook, Alphabet's Larry Page, Google's Eric Schmidt, Microsoft's Satya Nadella, Amazon's Jeff Bezos, Tesla's Elon Musk, IBM's Ginny Rometty, Oracle's Safra Katz, and Cisco's Systems' Chuck Robbins. Facebook's chief operating officer, Sheryl Sandberg, attended instead of its CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, who was one of many tech executives who've expressed misgivings about Trump's pledge to deport millions of immigrants who are in the country illegally. Wow, can you imagine? Reporters also were allowed to witness only the first moments of the meeting. Bezos, who is also owner of the Washington Post, which has been a frequent target of Trump complaints about campaign coverage, said that he was super excited about the possibility of innovation, a comment echoed by several other attendees. Now you know what? It's progress. You can't complain about the way he does it until he's given a chance to actually do it. That's where we're at. Well, Aleppo ceasefire, unravels, raising a specter of a bloody end. What a horrible, horrible thing. It's tantamount to an actual Holocaust taking place in our era of time. A ceasefire to evacuate rebel fighters and civilians from the remaining opposition-held neighborhoods of Aleppo unraveled today, once again raising the specter of a bloody end to a battle for Syria's largest city as residents reported the resumption of shelling and brutal bombing runs. Opponents of President Bashar Assad accused the government and its allies of scuttling the deal by adding new conditions, including the lifting of a rebel siege on two pro-government Shiite villages in nearby Idlib province. However, hours after it crumbled, the rebels said the deal was back on. There was no comment from the government or its allies, and minutes after the new ceasefire was to take effect at 11:30 p.m. local time, there were still reports of shelling in the few blocks of the city under rebel control. Wow. Can you imagine? It's horrible. Three rebel spokesmen said that the first group who wounded people and civilians were to be escorted out of the city early on Thursday morning. Rebels would follow, they said, adding that the conditions had not changed and that they had even agreed with the Russians on the exact number of buses and convoys to be deployed in the rescue. You know what? You heard me say it many, many times, and I continue to say the same thing. What kind of world do we live in? I'm wondering, what good is the United Nations? What good is NATO? What good is all this stuff? There are hundreds of thousands of people being massacred and murdered, maimed and tortured, and the world is sitting back and not doing anything about it. I just simply don't understand it. Well, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'm going to talk to you about Yahoo says that hackers stole information from over 1 billion accounts. And I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this. The Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking hip news. You know what? Yahoo says that hackers stole information, get this, from over 1 billion accounts. Yahoo says that it believes hackers stole data from more than the 1 billion user accounts in August of 2013 in what's thought to be the largest data breach at an email provider. The Sunnyvale, California company was also home to what's now most likely the second largest hack in history, one that exposed 500 million Yahoo accounts. The company disclosed that breach in September. Yahoo said that it hasn't identified the intrusion associated with this theft. Yahoo says that the information stolen may include names, email addresses, phone numbers, birth dates, and and security questions and answers. The company says that it believes bank account information and payment card data were not affected. But the company said hackers may have also stolen passwords from the affected accounts. Technically, those passwords should be secure. Yahoo said that they were scrambled twice, once by encryption and once by another technique called hashing. But hackers have become adept at cracking secured passwords by assembling huge dictionaries of similarly scrambled phrases and matching them against stolen password databases. That could mean trouble for any users who reuse their Yahoo password for other online accounts. So that's what's going on. Here's some questions for Verizon. The new hack revelation raises fresh questions about Verizon's $4.8 billion proposed acquisition of Yahoo, and whether the big mobile carrier will seek to modify or abandon its bid. If the hacks cause a user backlash against Yahoo, the company's services wouldn't be as valuable to Verizon. The telecom giant wants Yahoo and its many users to help it build a digital ad business. In a statement, Verizon said that it will evaluate the situation as Yahoo investigates and will review the new development before reaching any final conclusions. Spokesman Bob Veritoni declined to answer further questions. Yahoo said today that it is requiring users to change their passwords and invalidating security questions so that they can't be used to hack into the accounts. Well, it makes sense to me, doesn't it to you? Sure it does. Well, how about this? Conservatives seek an ally in Trump in Western land disputes. So you know what? Here's the deal. Conservatives who have long complained about the government's control of vast Western lands hope that they will have a new ally in Donald Trump, who has sent mixed signals about how he might manage land and whether he would relinquish federal authority over millions of acres. The president-elect has pledged to honor Theodore Roosevelt's tradition of conservation in the West, with its expansive deserts, snow-capped mountain ranges, and red rock canyons. But he has also said that he will unleash energy production there and has railed against faceless, nameless bureaucrats in land management agencies. Dozens of demands for land handovers have surfaced in Western state legislatures in recent years, and more sure to be offered in Congress during the Trump administration. Those who are championing these issues certainly see this as a rare opportunity, said Carla Jones, director of a task force for the American Legislative Exchange Council, a Washington-based organization that develops bills for conservative lawmakers. And hang on just a second. I got this sneeze coming on. I think I got it under control. You know, isn't that ironic? You get in the middle of the news, you're reading something, you're live on the air, and then all of a sudden, a sneeze is coming. And you're fighting it all you can, and you can't do a doggone thing to try and stop it. Well, here's one for you. Another sneeze. Perry would bring the oil industry ties to energy department. Now, remember that Rick Perry, who's now going to be the Secretary of Energy, the Department of Energy, that was one of the departments that Rick Perry said he wanted to shut down when he was running for president. Well, you know, Rick Perry, President-elect Donald Trump's choice for the energy secretary, has close ties to the Texas oil industry and corporate roles in two petroleum companies, pushing for government approval of the proposed 1,200-mile crude oil pipeline that has stoked mass protests in North Dakota. Perry's current position is board director at Energy Transfers Partners Limited, and also at Sunoco Logistics Partners Limited, or I should say LP, Limited Partnership, which jointly developed the controversial Dakota Access Pipeline project, is strong indicator of the pro-oil industry sentiment that will likely take root at the Energy Department under his oversight. The former Texas governor is close to Texas energy industry executives, and his political campaigns, including two failed presidential bids, benefited substantially from their donations. So go figure, right? You know, some of these choices are just a little scary. Let me leave you with this. Cosby lawyer attacks the bandwagon accusers, accounts as vague. Bill Cosby's lawyers on Today attacked what they called vague, remote, and often inconsistent allegations from a slew of women who prosecutors are seeking to call as witnesses at his sexual assault trial next year. Lawyers for the 79-year-old actor and comedian asked a judge to block 13 accusers from taking the stand, saying that uncertainty about where and when some of the sexual encounters took place made them impossible to defend against. Cosby, who is known as America's dad for his top-rated family sitcom, The Cosby Show, which ran from 1984 to 1992, is charged with molesting a woman at his suburban Philadelphia home in 2004. Prosecutors are seeking testimony from the other accusers to show that Cosby had a long history of knocking out women with drugs and drinking and sexually assaulting them. Well, that's enough of that kind of stuff. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, let's do something a little lighter. Let's talk about the IRS loses. And our first case here is an appeals officer cannot review consecutive tax bills. I'll tell you all about it right as soon as we get back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:24 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 71 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's down from 72 degrees on its way to 52 degrees. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in New York City, well, it's 39 degrees and partly cloudy. And if you're in Chicago, Illinois, hey, it's 14 degrees and it's clear. But you know what? Right now, we're just going to get you all bundled up and warm and comfy, and we're going to give you some good news. We're going to talk about the IRS loses. And the first case is appeals officer cannot review consecutive tax bills. Sounds strange, but it's true. Listen to this. A couple sought to avoid a levy to collect their 2000 taxes, but an IRS appeals officer ruled against them, noting that they had apparently underpaid their taxes in 2001 and 2002 as well. Well, later, the IRS moved to collect tax for those years. Now, the couple went to the IRS appeals again, were assigned the same appeals officer, and he ruled against them again. They protested that the law requires an appeals officer to be impartial and to have no prior involvement with the tax being assessed. Well, this is the IRS's opinion. The appeals officer had no role in assessing the 2001 and 2002 taxes, but this is what the judge said. The appeals officer had previously used those tax bills as evidence against the couple, so he was not impartial, and they do get a new hearing. It's the way it ought to be, right? Shame on the IRS. They just keep trying, right? Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the IRS loses another case. Tax court may review a frivolous return penalty. Here's the thing. A couple filed a return reporting their tax due and an overpayment and claiming a refund. They also wrote on the return that the IRS had violated their civil rights, mentioning a civil suit that they had filed against it. Now, the IRS imposed a $500 frivolous return penalty as a result. Now, they protested in tax court, but the IRS said that the court had no jurisdiction to review the penalty. And this is what the judge said. I mean, you don't want to tell judges what to do, right? The judge says, tax code changes made in 2006 gave the court jurisdiction to review these penalties. And here, in spite of the couple's statements, they apparently had filed an accurate return and didn't invoke any of the IRS's own list of frivolous arguments. So the case will be heard. And that's the way it ought to be. You know what? Nobody ought to be able to beat you out of this. You're a citizen. The IRS, even though they were created by Congress, works for us. We pay them. They shouldn't be, trying to cheat us. How about this? The IRS loses. Medical residents are exempt from FICA tax. You know what that is, right? The FICA tax is the Social Security and Medicare tax. They take half of it out of your wages and half of it your employer pays. That's what we're talking about here. In this case, federal law says that FICA employment tax does not apply to wages earned for services provided to a college or university by a student enrolled in regularly attending classes there. So, a university said that it did not owe FICA tax on wages that it paid to its medical residents who worked in a local hospital. The IRS's reply, IRS regulations state that students who work full-time do not qualify for the exemption. Moreover, students who work full-time at hospitals do not attend classes at the university. So, they went to the judge. The judge says this, the IRS regulation is invalid because it contradicts the law. And a hospital setting is the necessary classroom setting for medical students. So the exemption, yeah, you got it, absolutely applies. You know what? The IRS just keeps right on trying. Well, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing things. That's where we're at right now with this segment that we call Inside the IRS. Very much like, the Twilight Zone. Yeah, well, you know what? These are not actual tax court cases, but these are situations that the IRS has taken an action on or taken a position on, things that, if you know about them, could actually be quite helpful to you when you're dealing with the IRS. Let's start off with this. Suppose that you haven't filed your tax return for several years, and the IRS sends you a letter saying that it wants to audit you. Well, here's your best approach. Retain a knowledgeable tax attorney to contact the IRS agent and say that when the agent can tell the agent when they can expect to receive your delinquent tax returns. Now, a date for the audit can be scheduled at that time, or a new date if the audit had already been scheduled. The next thing you do, retain an accountant to prepare your tax returns absolutely correctly. Now, is not the time to take an aggressive tax position. I can guarantee you that. Now, be careful. Don't call the IRS agent yourself to explain why you haven't filed that tax return and why you failed to do it. This admission could be used against you if the IRS later decides to prosecute you for a tax crime. So be careful. And this is one of those things where, you know what, you don't want to really represent yourself. Get a licensed professional tax professional to help you with it. That's what you want to have happen. Well, how about this? Charitable contributions made to an organization cannot be earmarked for the benefit of a particular individual. Now, a common but technically not allowable practice is for a church or synagogue to raise money to benefit a member who's suffered some kind of a tragedy. But the better approach here is donations to the charity should be solicited for the general purposes, but then can be used by the leadership as they see fit, including to help a specific family or individual congregant. Now, special exceptions based on the recent IRS ruling, donations solicited for families of firefighters killed in the line of duty during emergency events in Southern California are going to be tax deductible. Now, the IRS legal memorandum is out there, and you can bet that that's going to be the case from now on. Now, we're going to take one more short break. When we come back from that break, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about how the war on terror is invading your privacy. And then after that, we'll talk about some practical tips for you. But you don't want to miss any of these things. We've got a lot of good stuff for you. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:34 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, down to 71 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It says it's on its way down to 50. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you happen to be in Paris, France, you lucky dog, well, it's 34 degrees and it's clear, a little chilly. And if you're in Rome, Italy, it's 46 degrees and it's clear. But if you're in either one of those places, it's also 35 minutes after midnight tomorrow morning, which means that you're either just getting started or you're just ending the evening. But in any event, you are in a great, great place. You know what? Right now, we're going to take a little diversion about how some of the things that we normally do. And I want to talk to you about how the war on terror is invading your privacy. You know, identity theft is a serious crime that can make victims feel as if there's just no way to leap or to keep personal information private. Now, to make matters worse, new privacy concerns are arising from the war on terrorism. Strong anti-terrorism laws, along with credit card, discount card, telephone, and EasyPass databases, are allowing the government to monitor what you buy, where and what you eat, what you read, where you travel, and more. In the name of national security, Washington is scouring databases around the country that it can and is monitoring email of specific people and checking some general traffic as well. However, the government refuses to give details about its surveillance techniques. Meanwhile, large corporations continue to collect, buy, and sell a trove of personal data. These intrusions are cause for worry, even if you have nothing to hide. Let's talk about some government intrusions. You know, the United States of America, the USA Patriot Act, passed shortly after September 11, 2001, permitted broader government monitoring of every American's activities. Investigations or investigators at the Department of Homeland Security have much greater access to our financial information and credit reports. The Department of Justice used to need a judge's order for every phone that it wiretapped. Now, it can apply for a roving wiretap that allows listening in on your phone conversations just because a suspect is an investigation, lives or works near you. Well, you know what's helpful? Modern wiretapping devices emit no sound. Call your local phone company if you think your phone is tapped. It will inspect for listening devices free of charge and alert you to an illegal wiretap. However, it will not tell you about a legal one. Now, it remains to be seen whether any of these new government powers can foil terrorism. But you know what? It is clear that data collectors will know increasingly more about you, and that's just what's going to happen. You know what? Here's some self-defense for that, though. It is much harder to be tracked if you use multiple internet and free email accounts, which don't require billing information. You can get free email accounts through Hotmail, Excite, and many other providers. Now, there's some but you know what? Besides government intrusions, there are some commercial intrusions as well. Private companies are also collecting your personal data. Why be concerned? Well, because the information in many databases can hurt you. In addition, many of the entries in databases are wrong. Even if the information is correct, it's easy to draw the wrong conclusions from data. Examples of information that might be collected? Let me give you a case. Here's number one. Supermarket and pharmacy loyalty cards earn you discounts, right? But your buying records are beginning to be sold to life and health insurance companies, which use them to evaluate your rates based on your food choices and non-prescription purchases. You might regularly buy something for a friend or relative, but the database logs you as the end user. So, a self-defense for this? Avoid giving your full name when you sign up for a loyalty club. See if you can use just the first or last name. Many stores let you sign up anonymously as store customer. How about a second case? EasyPass technology was created to speed traffic flow and decrease congestion at highway, bridge, and tunnel toll booths. Several states now use it to issue speeding tickets if you travel too quickly between tolls on the highway. Moreover, EasyPass records have been turned over to law enforcement to track people and have been subpoenaed in civil lawsuits, including divorces. So the self-defense here? Use your Easy Pass selectively, remove it periodically, and use cash at toll booths or carry multiple Easy Passes. You can do that. Now, how to control information? Well, you know what? Almost 70% of consumers complain that they've lost all control over how their personal information is collected and used by companies. Not every piece of data can be protected or is worth expending the energy to protect. Choose your battles. Decide what's most sensitive and when convenience or contributing to the collective security of the country makes sense. Now, here are some steps that you can take to regain some control here. First of all, pay cash for purchases that you want to keep confidential. Use a temporary credit card number. To help reduce fraud, some companies actually offer free single-use numbers to account holders. And then how that works? Well, use an online service to generate a disposable account confidentially linked to your real account. It will allow you to limit how much money an online merchant is able to get in the length of time that the funds are going to actually be available. And keep your Social Security number, that's the SSN number, out of circulation as much as possible. It has become the key piece of ID that unlocks access to your personal data, such as medical, insurance, and driver's license records. So the self-defense here, avoid writing your Social Security number on checks or credit card receipts. Use an alternate ID number, either random numbers that you select or the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. Tell the customer representative, I'm concerned about my privacy, so I'd rather keep that information to myself. Now, legally, you can refuse to use your Social Security number on any transaction other than those with tax consequences, such as getting a job or opening a bank account. For more information about this, though, contact computer professionals for social responsibility at www.cpsr.org. That's C as in Charlie, P as in Paul, S as in Sam, R is in Robert.org. And never confirm or provide personal information unless you called the company. One of the most popular identity theft scams is account spoofing. How it works? You get a call or an email claiming to be from a major company wanting to update your security or billing information. You're directed to a website that looks just like that company's billing page with blank boxes for your credit card number, Social Security number, all that kind of stuff. Now, the caller or emailer actually is a con artist who will use your personal information to open credit card accounts in your name and charge them to the limit. You won't be responsible for these charges, but straightening out the problem with all the credit card companies and credit reporting bureaus will take huge amounts of time and a lot of trouble. Well, maintain your internet privacy. Downloaded material that you thought you had deleted from your computer still remains on your hard drive. It can be accessed with widely available software. So you want to be careful. Now, the self-defense for this is free computer programs that permanently erase files are available from www.pcworld.com/downloads. Search for erase files, and that's what you're going to want to get. And then preventing intrusions at home. Stop receiving unsolicited credit card offers by mail. It'll reduce junk mail and make identity theft harder for those who steal from your mailbox. The self-defense here is contact the credit reporting industry at the National Opt-out Center. That's 888-567-8688. That's 888-567-8688. Or at www.optoutprescreen.com. That would be optoutprescreen.com. Specify that you wish to be permanently removed from pre-approved credit card offer lists. And that'll take care of that for you. And then stop telemarketers from calling your home using mass marketing lists filled with your personal information. The self-defense here is use the federal Do Not Call registry. It'll eliminate most telemarketing calls and provide stronger protection than most state registries do. If you don't block solicitors from calling, the registry requires them to exhibit their phone numbers on your caller ID. Now, telemarketers who disregard the Federal Trade Commission's the FTC registry can be fined up to $11,000 for each call to a prohibited number. So for information on that, this National Do Not Call Registry, call 888-382-1222 or go to the website at www.donotcall.gov. Now, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'm going to talk to you about some practical issues that you can use. And the one right off the top is police impersonator self-defense. Yeah, and it happens a lot. Don't think it doesn't. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:49 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, it's still 71 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California, on its way down to 50 degrees. But if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're listening in London, England, well, it's 38 degrees and it's clear. And if you're in Vienna, Austria, listening to our show, it's 32 degrees and, well, mostly cloudy. But you know what? Right now, what I want to do is I want to continue giving you some practical tips. And let's start off with how you deal with police impersonators and what the self-defense for that is. You know, the color of the flashing lights atop of police cars are not standardized across the United States. You know, while red flashes are common, many police forces use combinations on their vehicles, such as blue and red and blue and white. Other police forces just use blue lights. You know, the self-defense here is to protect yourself from criminal impersonating highway police without violating the law. Turn on emergency flashers when an unmarked vehicle signals you from behind. Stay on the road, slow down, then stop at the first well-lighted, populated area, such as a gas station. That's going to help you and make sure that you're okay. You won't get any trouble for that. The officer knows you're being careful. How about this? How to avoid identity theft. You know, identity theft is the fastest growing crime in the United States, according to the Council of Better Business Bureaus. About 9 million people were victimized just last year. Each victim of identity theft spends months or even years and thousands of dollars trying to clear his or her own name. So here's some prevention strategies for you. How can you steer clear of identity thieves? Well, don't disclose any personal information until you find out how it's going to be used, including whether it'll be shared with others. And pay attention to billing cycles so that you can follow up with creditors if your bills don't arrive on time. A missing bill could mean that someone has taken over your credit card and changed the billing address to cover his tracks. If your card is expired and you haven't received a replacement, call the card issuer immediately. Someone may have obtained your new card and maybe having an awful lot of fun with it. Well, shred every bill and other documents as well that contain personal or account information. A shredder costs just as little as $25. It's worth it. It's considered insurance. And install a lock on your mailbox to prevent someone from stealing your mail to obtain your account and other personal information. Remove your name, phone number, and address from mailing lists or marketing lists by contacting the Direct Marketing Association. That's www.the-dma.org. Now, this does not remove your name from all the lists, but it will get them off of many of them. And reduce the number of pre-approved credit card offers that you receive by contacting the credit reporting industry at 888-567-8688 or www.optoutprescreen.com. We gave that to you a little bit earlier. Well, order a copy of your credit report once a year from each of the 3 major reporting agencies. Make sure that the information is accurate and that the report includes only legitimate transactions. So contact Equifax. That's at 800-685-1111 or www.equifax, that's EQUIFAX.com. And you know what? Experian is at 888-397-3742 or www.experian, that's EXPERIAN.com. And then for TransUnion, it's 800-888-4213 or www.transunion.com. Those are the 3 majors. Those are the ones that they talk to each other, they update each other, and they're the ones that everybody looks at when they're checking on your credit. Now take note, you are entitled to 1 free report each year. Now just go to www.experian.com annualcreditreport.com. And if you have been turned down for credit, you can get a free report if requested in writing anytime. Now, consider subscribing to a credit monitoring service that alerts you within 24 hours of any charges to your credit file. For example, an application for a new credit card. Examples? You know what? PrivacyGuard.com. You can reach them at 888-202-8828 or www.privacyguard.com. And Identity Fraud Incorporated at 866-443-3728 or www.identityfraud.com. And they'll give it to you, but the costs range just anywhere from $60 to $140 per year. Now, consider purchasing identity theft insurance. You know, a new type of policy now being offered in some states to help identity theft victims with the expense of restoring their good name and credit. The insurance covers the cost of fixing credit records, lost wages for time away from work to talk with credit bureaus and investigators, long-distance phone calls, attorney fees, and a lot of other different costs. Now, here's some examples for you. You can go to Travelers at 888-695-4625 or www.travelers.com. And you can go to a Chubb group of insurance companies. That's at 908-903-2000. That's www.chubb. That's CHUBB.com. Now, premiums for $15,000 of coverage with a $100 deductible range somewhere between $15 and $30 a year. So, you know, it's cost effective when you're doing these things. Now, do not carry sensitive information with you, such as your social security number or your PIN numbers or passwords in your wallet or purse. Just don't do that. And don't give out personal information over the telephone unless you absolutely initiated the call yourself and know who you're talking to. Don't put your social security number on driver's license number on your checks. Some people do that. It's the wrong thing to do. Don't use easily available information, such as your mother's maiden name, your birth date, or the last four digits of your social security number as your password for credit or debit cards or phone accounts. You know, those things, you know, these hackers can get those things just as easy as you just can't believe how fast they can do it. And don't have new checks sent to your residence. Instead, pick them up at the bank or have them delivered by registered mail so that you have to sign for them. Now, if you've been victimized, if you find out that someone has been obtaining credit using your name and personal information, there's three things that you need to do. You know, first of all, contact the fraud department of each of the three major credit reporting bureaus and report that your identity has been stolen. Ask that the fraud alert be placed on your file and add a victim statement that creditors contact you before opening any new account in your name. Then contact the security department of the creditor or financial institution of any fraudulently assessed or opened accounts. Close the account and change passwords on any new account. Tell the creditor or institution that this is a case of ID theft. And then finally, file a report with your local police or where the identity theft actually took place. Request a copy of the police report in case of a bank credit card company or credit needs proof of the crime later on. You're going to want that. After these initial actions, there are things that you should do to prevent additional injury as well as correct any adverse actions to date. Cancel all current checking and savings accounts and open new ones. Get new ATM cards. Contact an attorney if credit bureaus are unresponsive to you or in any way. Report the crime to the FTC. You can do that by calling its identity theft hotline at 877-438-4338 or just log on to their website at www.ftc.gov/ID theft. And then what's really important, if you're disputing fraudulent debts and accounts opened by an identity thief, the ID theft affidavit issued by the FTC now simplifies the process of claiming or cleaning up your credit history. Instead of completing multiple forms, you can use this affidavit to alert companies and the credit bureaus when a new account has been opened in your name. Just download the affidavit from www.ftc.gov/ID theft. Now, with that, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Joel's got a lot of new information. You know, he might even talk about how identity theft affects you. You never know. He had that happen to him last year. Well, we'll be right back with Dr. Wireless right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:02 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, it's still 71 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 50. Big difference between the two. If you happen to be listening to us on our globally syndicated network, you're listening to us in Madrid, Spain. Well, it's 46 degrees and it's raining. And in Tokyo, Japan, it's 42 degrees and it is partly cloudy. But I'll tell you what, it's not raining yet, but it's going to be, I think, pretty sure. In Torrance, California, where our Dr. Wireless resides, it's 63 degrees and partly cloudy. Hey, Joel, how you doing, my friend?
Doing well, Robert. How about yourself?
I am doing fantabulous.
Well, I suppose that's a good thing. I was listening to your last segment, and yes, I was a recipient of getting my identity stolen.
Boy, it's
no fun at all.
No, it's a mess, isn't it? How long did it take you to straighten all that mess out, if you don't mind talking about it?
Oh, probably about 6 months for the most part. But one of the most important things that you mentioned, obviously, the sequence of contacting everybody and canceling everything and contacting the 3 major bureaus. But instrumental, what you really, really, really need to do is make that police report, get the DR number. A lot of times they don't want it take the police report. But it's so important because without that police report, you cannot freeze your credit. With the police report, it's a 7-year freeze. Without the police report, every year they open everything up. So if these bad guys, keep your info and do nothing with it for a year, if you don't file that police report, they can try again next year, and there's no hold.
Oh, I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware of that. So what happens? What happens if you want to do something?
Well, what happens if I want to open up an account? They'll contact me to verify it's really me.
I see. So I'm guessing in this weather today, if you got the same weather we have, and we're expecting storms tonight and tomorrow, you're not getting your toes wet in the mighty blue Pacific, huh?
Well, I don't really care about storms at this point. It's already rained the first time, so all the gross stuff is in the sewers, in the ocean, and long gone. There's just no waves. It was so flat this morning. I was looking at our swell magnet surf cam, and I thought that I was looking at the horizon. I thought it was angled wrong because there was nothing breaking. It looked like Lake Pacific.
Wow.
So, no, I didn't go out. I haven't been out for a few days. Which is fine because there's so much going on.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, before we get started, I finally, you finally sent me the right access to Snipply.com.
And you tried it?
Holy cow, that's phenomenal.
It's amazing. It's a small, simple, little free website, and when you realize what it will do for you, it's all about convergence.
Well, I'm sitting back now trying to think of all the different ways that I can utilize this thing.
There are a lot of neat ways you can do it. From what I can see, it works on Hootsuite. It works on a few sites I've never heard of, obviously Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But it is an amazing way of just keeping people coming back and sharing a link and then sending people to your website or wherever you want to.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Everybody out there listening to us probably is wondering, what the heck are they talking about? Send me an email, joel@drwireless.com, and I'll send your users something that is so phenomenally simple. As I mentioned, I was at a very expensive Facebook marketing event, and somebody just happened to mention this, and I thought this was as impressive as anything that we learned at the event.
It's interesting. Both of us, many people go to lots and lots of seminars all the time, especially if you're in business. And it's interesting how unique it is that at every one there is usually the simplest little thing that you pull away from there. Somebody says something that wasn't part of the program, or somebody gives you information that wasn't part of the program that just changes the way you do business.
Well, that's the whole benefit of dealing with your peers, and that's why Ingram Micro used to fly me all over the country to all kinds of events. And it was wonderful because I got to talk to my peers, and they're in the same industry as I am, and they run into the same issues in different parts of the country, and some of them may have solutions that I have yet to figure out. But it's a wonderful way of getting advice, and a lot of times you learn as much, if not more, from your fellow participants than you do from the teachers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, matter of fact,
so you're right.
I'm guessing a lot of the teachers learn from every event that they put on as well.
True.
Hey, so listen, what's new in the world of wireless technology?
All right. Well, before we get to wireless, let's talk Volkswagen.
Okay.
They haven't had a good year this year. And there's a lot of upset VW owners. And what they're doing right now is there's a buyback. And in the buyback contract, it just stipulates that the car's got to run. It doesn't really, and it can't be, flood damaged or fire damaged. So what people are doing is they're turning in their Volkswagen diesel vehicles back to Volkswagen. They're taking the bumpers off. They're taking the sound systems out of them. They're stripping them and returning them. And Volkswagen is giving them full credit, and they're selling the parts on the internet.
Wow.
So it's a win-win for people that have these cars, going to keep them, and will ever need parts. There's a surplus of parts going to be available very shortly. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah. The ingenuity of people and being able to read between the lines, right?
Just amazing.
Yeah,
just amazing.
Absolutely.
And let's see what else we have. Our friends at AT&T just agreed to refund $88 million to their subscribers. Look for a $31 refund, possibly to you, Robert.
Wow. Refund $81 million? Do I get a major portion of that?
$88 million. You may get $31. You're lucky.
Actually, I think I already got it. I think they sent that out just a couple, 2-3 weeks ago that I got a check from them.
Okay, well, do you know why you got it?
I had no idea why I got it. All I know is I deposited it. Oh.
This is something I covered years and years and years ago on one of my blogs, and it's just some of the scams, and it was something that really offended me. It's called cramming. You know what cramming is? Cramming is when a third-party company comes to your carrier and says, look, we'll cut you a deal. In return for 35 to 50% profit, we'll give you 35 to 50% of our profit if you will let us bill our services on your subscribers' phone bills. So this was the scam, and it would be legit if these people were going by the book. But what was happening is, and this has been going on forever, but it started before there was free text messaging. So people would pick it up easy if they're all of a sudden receiving text messages and they didn't have a text plan. It was a problem, they pick it up. But now that everybody offers free text messaging, a lot of people don't pick it up. Here's how it works. If you get every day, let's say, joke of the day, all of a sudden you start getting a funny joke coming in every day. Mm-hmm. You don't think anything of it. You got free text messaging, no big deal. Funny, here's a good joke. But what happens is there's companies that were signing people up without their permission. It's one thing if you sign up to opt in for a service that charges you $9.99 a month and provides you one joke a day or your horoscope per day. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different scams. But here's the problem. There was unethical people working for these third-party companies that were signing up tens of thousands of subscribers, wireless subscribers, to these services unbeknownst to them. Now, if I see on my bill that I'm charged $9.99 more than usual, I'm lucky. I'm on a bill where it's the same to the penny nearly every single month. So I see a $10 spike, I know something's fishy. Now, I manage the accounts for several major universities, and unfortunately, these universities have hundreds of departments. These departments get their cell phones, use their cell phones, and then accounts payable gets their phone bill. Right. So unless there's $100, $200, $300 spike on a phone bill, if it's $10 more, they don't think twice. They pay it.
Yeah, they don't even
so in many cases, the end user never sees the bill. The bill gets paid by their accounting department, and there's this $9.99 third-party charge on the bill that nobody approved, and the carrier only put it there because the carrier is going to get 35 to 50% of it each month. That's the incentive for the carrier to allow these third-party companies to bill. It's called cramming, and it's something that every carrier has been fined for. T-Mobile. So
it's it's more than an $81 million deal. It's
$88 million fine just to AT&T.
Yeah, just that, because that's the biggest fraud. Huge. Yeah, huge fraud.
And this is a very, very common issue. So it's something that's been going on forever. It's not going to be going away anytime soon. So I always tell people to look at their bills.
Well, you know what? My bill seems to be the same all the time. I mean, right down to the penny.
Well, they should be, because you shouldn't be paying any data overage charges. All the carriers now are offering rollover, and a lot of them are throttling.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I got something else huge.
Huge.
This is huge.
Gigantic.
I should say, as Trump would say, huge.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of Trump, before you get into it, talking about huge. Did you see that this last meeting that Trump had with I think it was 20 or 25 of these iTech companies? I mean, Bezos was there, and I mean, all these guys. These guys are going to fall in love with Trump. I guess he's committed to helping them, even though they were funding Hillary.
Oh, they're scared to death of them. That's the whole issue. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I saw Al Gore walking into his office. I've seen Romney walking in. I've seen some unlikely people walking in and out. So we'll see what happens. But what I'm going to tell you now is huge. We've talked about in the past how T-Mobile and Sprint have these unlimited 4G LTE plans that offer standard definition, not high definition. And we've talked about how the difference between SD and HD itself is not that significant. And T-Mobile needed to add a little incentive to get people to go for their HD incentive. And aside from getting the 1080p instead of 480p when you're streaming, the big incentives with T-Mobile is instead of getting 3G hotspot unlimited service, you would get 4G hotspot unlimited service if you take their premium plan. So anybody who uses their iPhone or Android as a hotspot, this is very attractive, but they just sweeten the pot. Are you sitting down?
I am.
How about Wi-Fi on all flights via GoGo, text messaging on all flights via GoGo, stateside international talk and text.
Holy cow.
My wife can call France, cell phones, landlines, doesn't matter, unlimited for free. So we can call Europe, we can call Asia for totally free. Normally it's $1.99 to call France if you don't have this package. Visual voicemail included. Name ID included, and 3G roaming overseas, up from 2G roaming included.
Wow.
So anybody who travels regularly may want to consider springing for the $25 to go from the conventional one rate to the premium plan, which is the top of the line plan. It's pretty amazing.
That's unbelievable.
Anyhow, I always forget, but before I forget, everything we're talking about and are going to talk about can be seen on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/drwireless. I'm taking some of this material from our website, drwireless.com/blog as well. And anybody with questions can contact me personally at joel@drwireless.com. We okay for time? Or?
Yeah. We got about 4 minutes.
Perfect. Well, then let me say something that I said last week because we're running out of time. Anybody who wants a terrific tax write-off, I have it for you. $780 will get you 1 year of free satellite service for 2017. It will also get you a $500 satellite phone for free. So bottom line, $780 total cost for the year, $500 free satellite phone included. That includes 100 minutes a month. It includes free voicemail. It includes unlimited inbound texting. Quite a value. And these phones are wonderful for disaster preparedness, business continuity, exotic travel. You go to Alaska, you go to federal parks, you go on a cruise ship. 65 cents a minute beats the heck out of $10 a minute, which is what you could easily pay on those ships.
Boy, you can say that again.
So just some interesting stuff. We talked last week about digits. Do you recall that? T-Mobile digits. Without all the techno mumbo jumbo, this is a free way. It's pretty cool because what it does is it frees your phone number from the normal legacy cell phone, and it allows you to utilize the database nature of voice over LTE and voice over Wi-Fi, so you can call, place calls, or receive calls pretty much anywhere. It's kind of like Google Voice. I think we've talked about that. I have Google Voice. They give me a second phone number. I don't even know it. It's 424-264-4995 or something. Yeah. But if I wanted to give you my phone number or give it to somebody who I was a little bit, leery about, I'd give you my regular phone number, Robert, no problem. But some folks, you don't want to give your phone number, which is a great way because you give them this phone number, and this phone number will ring out to your regular phone. So if I give you this 424 number, it rings on my 310 number. And you can have it ring pretty much on any kind of device. And the major advantage that T-Mobile has over Viber and Skype and Google Voice is they own their own network and they distribute the phones. So because of that, you can do a few things that are going to drive the other carriers absolutely nuts. So if you can receive a call on your traditional T-Mobile phone, and you can make that phone ring on another phone, a computer, a tablet, a smartwatch at the same time, you can make calls from any of these same devices without even having your phone nearby and without even having the need for a SIM card.
That's amazing.
So it's kind of like Ring Central, where you can set up sequential rings. You can have 5 devices ring at the same time.
Yeah, that's actually a good deal.
Now, here's what's crazy about it. You can use this. This is what's going to really piss off the other carriers. You can use your T-Mobile phone on AT&T, Verizon, or Sprint. You can make your T-Mobile phone number ring on AT&T, Verizon, or Sprint's phones.
Wow. So it works like a forwarding.
Very much like.
Yeah.
It kind of works like Google Voice. Anybody who's familiar with how Google Voice works, and the beauty of this is, with Android, it's already built in to the Galaxy Note 5, the Galaxy S7, the Gear 3, the S7 Edge. So it's basically built into their software. For iPhone users like us, there's an app in the Apple Store you can download that'll enable this.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
So you'll be hearing more about it, but it's pretty cool stuff.
Okay, listen, what are you going to tease us with when we come back from this commercial message?
Oh, God, it's just so much stuff. It's unbelievable. I don't even want to get. How about Apple removing their battery indicators on their MacBook Pros because they're inaccurate rather than fix them? They just decided to remove them.
All right. We'll be back with Dr. Wireless. After, go a dumbass way to fix something. We'll be right back with Dr. Wireless after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:24 p.m. Pacific time. It's finally going down to 70 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Sydney, Australia, well, it's 63 degrees and it's mostly cloudy. And in Auckland, New Zealand, 72 degrees and mostly cloudy. But I'll tell you what, there's no clouds swimming around the head of my own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Joel, I was thinking that if my driver's license expired, I'd just take it out of my wallet and that would make everything okay, right?
Exactly. This Joni Ivey designer guy from Apple, he's amazing. You know, it's one thing, one of the cool things about the MacBooks is, the older ones had that big apple that lit up on the other side of the screen. Well, they did away with that. I can understand that. They want to save a few bucks, okay. They were having some complaints about the inaccuracy of the MacBook Pro battery LEDs. There's about 8 LEDs on my MacBook. Yeah. So people are complaining about they're inaccurate. So Apple's solutions, let's just move the son of a bitch, take it off. So they don't have it. So that's and they remove that, and they get paid for those kinds of solutions. I can't believe it is unbelievable. They get paid big bucks for this stuff. Instead of making it accurate, just get rid of it, right? Oh, jeez. Yep. Oh. It's nuts. Oh. Anyhow, there's some really good stuff going on. Google just made it super easy to ditch your iPhone and move to Android. They came out with a new tool that moves all of your content from iOS to Android seamlessly and smoothly. Wow. It's basically Google Drive. It's like Apple Drive. They call it Google Drive. That's a big deal because that alone would be the deciding moment for people who don't make the switch because of all the stuff that's already on their phones that they don't want to go through the trouble of having to copy it down, print it, put it on their new phone. Wow. Well, it's not just that. It's people don't know how to do this, and the equipment supposedly will do this seamlessly. I just spoke with a woman of mine who I'm moving from T-Mobile to Verizon, and she sent me an email saying, gee, I'm a little concerned. One of my friends went to the Verizon store on Saturday and bought an iPhone 7, and none of her contacts moved over. Am I going to have a problem? And I responded to her, your friend didn't go to Dr. Wireless. No, now that's the secret. That's the defining moment. Well, I'm obviously going to make sure that they're backed up in the iCloud or in the iTunes and, before making any moves, make sure everything is secure. Here's one you're going to love. Did you hear this? Today in San Francisco, Uber just launched their first self-driving taxi. I didn't know that I had read in the news that it was imminent. I didn't know that they had already launched it. Wow. Today was the first drives, of these self-driving Uber cars. Here's the irony of it. You would figure there's going to be a driver in it, even though it's self-driving. Uh-huh. Because of, you gotta, somebody's got to open the door for you. Yes, right? Somebody's got to identify that you're the right rider, right? Exactly. So not only is there a driver who, by California law, has to sit in there and look stupid while the car is driving itself, But they also have a second person in the front seat who is in charge of analytics.
Oh, you're
so
kidding.
Here's a self-driving car that's got two people in it instead of one.
You know what? I guess the price of technological advancements, right?
Exactly. So it'll get worse before it gets better, I suppose.
Yeah. But think about it. I mean, a driverless. I mean, that really means that literally driverless taxi cabs are really not that far. Yeah, not that far away. And the truth is that who the hell would want to take your cab if it's already pre-programmed to take you to a specific place that they don't even know about?
True. But the heck with driverless cars. Give me a hovercraft where I can go over to idiots in front of me if it gets too crowded.
Let's take that 2-hour drive and make it 20 minutes.
Exactly. Anyhow, we also have, and this is all on the Facebook.com/Dr. Wireless. I have the 5 best new iPhone features in iOS 10.2. I have something very interesting, which is the 11 paid iPhone apps on sale for free today. This is a series I'm going to do every week because every week there's new paid iPhone apps that are free. Mm-hmm. So that's on there as well. What else did we have? Where do you go when you need blood work? When your doctor says, "Okay, we need to test your cholesterol," what do you do for your blood work?
I go downstairs.
Who do you go to?
I go to the lab downstairs.
Okay, is it the doctor? Is it Quest? Is it LabCorp? Or is it the actual?
I belong to Kaiser, so they just send me downstairs, and the lab's right there.
All right. Well, hopefully it's not Quest Diagnostics. That's a lab that we go to.
Yeah.
They just got hacked.
Oh, really?
So there are 34,000 people who had their personal health info exposed.
Wow.
How about that?
Well, you know what?
Here's one you're going to love. Before I forget, I wanted to tell you this because I thought this is brilliant. You know, T-Mobile's giving everybody fits.
Yeah.
It
has been for a long while.
And they love that. Yeah. The president of T-Mobile loves toying with Dumb and Dumber, AT&T and Verizon, he calls them.
Yeah.
But here's one thing that he did, which I think is genius. You know, Google cut a deal with Verizon and made Verizon the exclusive for the Google Pixel phone and the Pixel XL. These are the replacement for the Nexus phones. They're beautiful. They're really the only alternative to an iPhone I've seen so far that really impresses me. But they're only available on Verizon. But we all know Verizon does not lock their devices. And we all know you can go into Best Buy and some of these retailers and buy these unlocked devices. So what T-Mobile's done is this. Google won't sell to T-Mobile, but T-Mobile will give a $350 credit to anybody who brings in one of these phones to them and activates it on their one plan. So here's a $650 phone you can basically get for $300 if you bring it to T-Mobile.
Wow.
And have us activate it.
Wow.
So, and it's a good phone. It works great on T-Mobile. As we talked about, all these LTE phones work network to network.
Yeah.
In fact, and here's something that I'm going to let you know that I've never said this in the past. Sprint, iPhone 6, iPhone 6S, iPhone 7s will work once you unlock them on T-Mobile and AT&T now.
Wow. So, you know what?
So you have 4 carriers in the U.S.
It seems
all the phones are compatible.
And that's going to be the future, isn't it? They're not going to be able to lock those phones into a particular provider.
Well, they may lock it in, while you're with that provider, but you can always buy out your phone and move it to anybody, and you own the phone and you own the number.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, think of it as the bank. It's your money. They're holding it. You want to change banks? Yeah, move it to a different bank. It's the same with your cell phone number.
Yep.
If your carrier isn't showing you love, call me up. We'll find another one that'll show you more love.
Yep. Yep. You know what? Yeah. There are times, though, I've got to tell you, if it weren't that I have this system on my phone that does screen calls for me and do things like that, if I didn't have that, I'd be going nuts. I'm all of a sudden being bombarded by people from all over the country that I've never even heard of, and I'm assuming that they're just soliciting me in some way. They got my phone number somehow, and I just put them on a blocked call button, so I don't have to listen to that stuff anymore. But I don't know about you, but I'm just getting bombarded with stuff.
You know what? That reminds me. I have something fantastic that I'm going to share that somebody shared with me, and I thought it was just totally brilliant. You notice how, people are selling your data. You don't know if it's Google. You don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Your data is just getting out there. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be great to figure out who's selling your data?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I figured out a way. Here's what you do. Every time you sign up for something, mm-hmm. Let's say you sign up for Google. Let's say you sign up for Yahoo. Let's say you sign up for Skype. Whoever you sign up for, it asks for your first name. Mm-hmm. It asks for your last name. Where it asks for the middle name, you put in Facebook, you put in Google, you put in Yahoo, you put in anybody. And that way, if your information gets sold, you look at it, and if it says Robert Yahoo Cardoza, it's Yahoo that sold you out.
That's a great idea.
Isn't that amazing?
That is
a middle name. You put in whoever the app was that you signed up for.
Yeah.
But I thought that was terrific. Now the problem is there's not a whole lot you can do about it immediately, but at least you can find out who got hacked or who was selling your information. And if they're selling your information, you may want to contact them and let them know, or just dump them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some sites that give you an option. Do you want them to share the information or not? And it's always no, I don't. But that I don't necessarily think that stops them.
Well, the ones that give you the option are probably legit. It's these ones that don't even tell you.
Yeah.
Here's something else. Don't know if you heard about this, but how I've been talking about how Microsoft has been getting it together. I hated the Surface Pro 2.
Yep.
Kind of like the 3. I like the 4, and I hear the 5's unbelievable. I'm hearing from Microsoft, and naturally, what else are they going to say? But they're saying right now that more people are switching from Mac to Surface than ever before. And these are getting cooler. I mean, they come apart. You got a tablet, you got a laptop, you got a pen, you can write on it. You can do a lot of really neat things with these. They've gotten smaller, the battery's gotten better, and they've gotten a lot more popular. And this is all in line with what I said I believe is going to happen, and that's that they're going to come out with a really good Surface phone sometime late next year. Going to tie it all together, and I think Microsoft's going to come back strong.
Well, you know what, Microsoft is the reason. I believe that Microsoft is the reason that even Apple is where they're at today. If it hadn't been for a Microsoft and the demand for compliance with technology and their technological advancements, none of this would have happened. And for them to come back is just a natural revolution of things to come, I think.
It's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting stuff. So by the way, Skype also just came out with something pretty cool. How about real-time translation on mobile calls?
Oh, that's honest to God?
On landline and mobile calls, they're now supporting real-time translation.
Wow.
I don't know how they're doing it, but pretty impressive stuff.
Wow. Well, Dr. Wireless, give out that contact information because we are out of time till next Wednesday.
Oh. That always happens. Are we broadcasting next Wednesday?
No, we're gonna. No, you know what? I was just getting ready to say it, and I wasn't going to say it on the air. We're going to do an archive show. You will be on the air, but it'll be one of your best shows.
So maybe my feet will be wet at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. You could be listening to yourself and say, "Wow, what a great segment this is."
There you go. Well, Joel at drwireless.com. If anybody has any questions, everything we talked about is www.facebook.com/drwireless and drwireless.com/blog.
All right. Hey, Joel, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Have a wonderful holiday season. We'll talk to you in the new year.
Likewise.
All right, my friend. And the rest of you folks, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to be doing the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. We got a lot of great show left for you. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:41 p.m. Pacific time. I can't believe this. It still says it's 70 degrees outside in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, not going to be too sunny. It's supposed to rain tonight and tomorrow, a thunderstorm. So we'll see what happens with that actually tomorrow and the next day. But if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you happen to be in Hong Kong, well, it's 64 degrees and it's overcast. And if you're in Lisbon, Portugal, it is 52 degrees and it is clear. But right now, I want to talk to you about the Harvard business tip of the day. And the management tip today is, don't let one bad experience stop you from giving feedback. You know, it can be tough to get up the nerve to give a colleague or your boss constructive feedback, even if they've requested it. And if the person becomes defensive, it's easy to shut down and tell yourself that offering your thoughts is a bad idea in general. But overgeneralizing from one experience is never a good idea, and your reactive thoughts in that moment, I'm never good at having honest conversations, or no one wants to hear about things that they could do better, work against you. Your brain is essentially prioritizing your short-term psychological safety and over the long-term benefit of having discussions that allow you and your colleague to actually learn. Now, don't give in to this negative thinking. Instead, focus on the positive experiences that you've had giving feedback. You might think, wow, that didn't go well, but my general track record is still very good. And that is what you want to keep in mind. So, don't lose heart. Always use everything to your advantage and make it a learning experience. And let's talk about the secret daily teaching for your life. It's a positive mental attitude. You decide if you're going to be happy, sad, rich or poor, a success or a failure. You decide every morning when you look in the mirror and you say, I'm going to have a wonderful, fantastic, productive, profitable day today, and I'm going to make everybody around me happy. Well, you know what? The teaching for today is, do you think you can? You can achieve and do anything you want with this knowledge. In the past, you have underestimated how brilliant you are. Well, now you know that you are the supreme mind and that you can draw anything you want from that one supreme mind. Any invention, any inspiration, any answer, anything. You can do anything you want. You are a genius beyond description. So, start telling yourself that and become aware of who you really are. You got to believe it, folks. Got to believe it. Well, you know what today is. I do. You do. Everybody does. It's Wednesday. It's December the 14th, and it is somebody's birthday. Yes, sir. And not only is it somebody's birthday, we've got three good ones for you. Well, we have good ones every day. I don't know why I said three good ones for you. But let's start off with today. Today, December the 14th, in 1503, this person was born, died in 1566. He was a French astrologer. Happy birthday, Nostradamus. Yeah. And in 1911, died in 1965, an American comedian and musician, Spike Jones. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Spike. And then finally, born in 1922, an American creator of 60 Minutes. Happy birthday, Don Hewitt. Yes, sir. And you know what? Let's talk about what happened today in history. Sit down, relax in your favorite chair, and let me tell you about it. Right at the beginning, December the 14th, 1947, the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, NASCAR, is founded in Daytona Beach, Florida. And in 1962, NASA's Mariner 2 becomes the very first spacecraft to fly by Venus. Well, December 14th, 2003, President George W. Bush announces the capture of Saddam Hussein. And then finally, on December the 14th, 2004, the Millau Viaduct, the highest bridge in the world near Millau, France, is officially opened. Now, if you've never seen that bridge, I have seen that bridge. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Well, the quote for today comes from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and Ralph says, "The only way to have a friend is to be one." Now that is prolific. That's good stuff. Let's talk about those interesting but useless facts. We've got a couple minutes here, so let's see if we can give you a few of them. Did you know that the power lawnmower was invented by Ransom E. Olds of Oldsmobile fame? And he did it in 1915. Well, you know, the only one satellite has ever been destroyed by a meteor, the European Space Agency's Olympus, and it happened in 1993. Well, here's one for you. The alteration of the architectural appearance of a city by the construction of skyscrapers and high-rise buildings is known as Manhattanization. The term refers to the New York borough, Manhattan. Yeah, and I guess if you've ever been, you understand. How about this? Most car horns honk in the key of F. Yeah, I'll let you just play around with that a little while. Did you know that Emily Dickinson wrote more than 900 poems, only 4 of which were published during her lifetime? Now, that's interesting. I didn't know that. How about this? The first prime number after 1 million is 1,000,003. Well, I guess that makes sense. Did you know that Vatican City is the smallest country in the world? It's just 0.17 square miles. Monaco is the second smallest at 0.7 square miles. Well, I've been to both, and they're both very small, and they're both very beautiful. Here's one. Did you know that reptiles are covered in scales or have a bony external plate, such as a shell? Yep, all of them. Every one of them. Here's something for you. Did you know that wolves live and hunt in groups called a pack? Now, a pack can range from 2 wolves to as many as 20 wolves, depending on such factors as habitat and food supply. Most packs have one breeding pair of wolves, called the alpha pair, who lead the hunt. I don't know. How about this? On June the 10th, 1958, a tornado was crashing through El Dorado, Kansas. The storm pulled a woman out of her house and carried her 60 feet away. She landed relatively unharmed next to a phonograph record titled Stormy Weather. Now that is interesting. Did you know lions feed once every 3 to 4 days? Well, I feed every day. Multiple times a day. You know, an ounce of gold can be beaten up into a sheet covering 9.3 square meters or drawn into 80.5 kilometers. That's 50 miles of wire. That's unbelievable. William Howard Taft had a bathtub that could hold 4 people installed in the White House because he couldn't fit into the president one. Can you imagine that? Big boy. Well, let's see if we can leave you with this one. Did you know that the film Mary Poppins was filmed entirely indoors? Yeah, now you know the rest of that story. Well, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to do a tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Today's story, the deciding vote. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. It's time for our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. The American Broadcasting Company calls him the biggest voice in America. He's Paul Harvey, and each week millions of listeners, viewers, and readers would await his unraveling of the mysteries of the events and the lives of people past and present. Heard on over 1,400 radio stations, seen on 110 television stations, and read in 300 newspapers. The rest of the story has for years been exploring the byways of history with revelations that are intriguing, amusing, and surprising. Well, our story from Paul today is the deciding vote. You know, Stephen Van Rensselaer took his job seriously. Already in his 60s, Van Rensselaer had spent more than half his life in politics. Now, for the past 3 years, he had faithfully served the state of New York as representative in Congress. Having seen a good deal of action on the floor of the House of Representatives, Van Rensselaer had become accustomed to the stresses of his profession. The good judgment and immediacy of his decision could, on any given day, affect the whole country. Van Rensselaer knew it, and he was not afraid of it. But after all the months and years of voting on the issues large and small, one day there arose an issue on which Van Rensselaer simply could not decide. And wouldn't you know it, his vote was to be the deciding one. How Congressman Van Rensselaer finally made up his mind? Well, you know what? That's going to be the rest of the story. At the age of 25, Stephen Van Rensselaer got his first taste of politics as a member of the New York State Legislature. In 2 years, he would be elected to the state Senate, and in 4 more years to the post of lieutenant governor for the one term. Vitally interested in the project which would one day link the Hudson River to the Great Lakes by water, Van Rensselaer was among the earliest advocates of the Erie Canal. For 15 years, he served on the state's Canal Commission, parrying a good number of thorny proposals. After the canal operation was secure, he turned his attention to the development of the school at Troy, New York, a school which became the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. Decision-making had become a way of life for Stephen Van Rensselaer. Important decision-making. His earliest training in the military, coupled with 36 years of active politics, should have enabled him to make up his mind with the swiftness and certainty of a veteran planner that he was. And yet, after only 3 years in Congress, came the decision Stephen Van Rensselaer simply could not make. The issue did not take him by surprise. It had, in fact, been open to discussion for quite some while here. During the earliest phase of his consideration, Van Rensselaer had placed himself firmly on one side. But as the arguments dragged on, Van Rensselaer wore down, lost his initial confidence. This time, the fire-tempered, thoroughly adept decision maker was squarely on the fence, discerning enough. Had fate not deemed Van Rensselaer's vote a tiebreaker. The House of Representatives was nearly evenly divided on the issue. All awaited the final word, the deciding vote of Stephen Van Rensselaer. The heat was on, and the senior representative from New York was warm. On February the 9th, Van Rensselaer took his seat in the House, still undecided, no authority to petition, nowhere to look but up. So Stephen looked up in the only way that he knew how. He bowed his head low on the desk in front of him. "Oh, Lord, please, please." The please was sufficient. Stephen opened his eyes, and the first thing he saw was something on the floor, a trampled, discarded ballot already filled out. The congressman, taking his first sight out of prayer as Providence, cast the ballot. The issue was decided once and for all. The House of Representatives had spoken, but the tie broken in the House had itself broken and a larger tie, an evenly divided popular vote in the presidential election of 1824. So it was by one vote, by one discarded ballot on the floor of Congress and a prayer that John Quincy Adams became the 6th president of the United States. And now you know the rest of the story. Well, on my next show tomorrow, Sean LaFave and I are going to be here. We'll be talking about health care, and there's a lot of things that we'll be talking about. God only knows the total of it. And then I'm going to continue our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Tomorrow's story is going to be Made to Sing. You're not going to want to miss that. That's for sure. I want to ask you to please tell all your friends about our show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. They'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it, and I most certainly will appreciate it.
Our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.